Hi everybody, welcome. On the 18th of March, we've got a full moon in Virgo at 27 degrees and 39 minutes. Virgo, the sign of practicality. We've got so much Piscean energy up in those heavens. Sun, Neptune, a conjunct at the time of this full moon opposite the moon. Jupiter in Pisces about to join Neptune. So we've got a sea of confusion, a sea of energy, of lostness, of sadness, of grief. There's so much going on in our planet, and so many of us are experiencing a lot of heartache. And what Virgo wants us to do is to take action, practical action. What are the themes of Virgo? Let's look at it. Virgo rules health, rules service to others, work as in service, work as in doing something that enriches other people's lives. Rules the animal kingdom, the animals. So does Pisces. Discernment, being able to discern what's important out of a sea of information, of messages, of frequencies. Virgo says, let's sort this out now. Let's get some order. What is important for me to see right now? And where must I take action? The way I see Virgo is love in action. Yeah, Pisces is that spiritual love, the divine beings that we are. And Virgo says, are we going to bring that divinity that is inside of us and express it in a violent way, in a destructive way, all the things that goodness knows we've been doing for centuries. But it's coming to an even bigger head now as to we're living in a material world, and how we're going to bring divinity, Pisces, into the material world, Virgo. We're dealing with lots of planets in fixed signs, particularly Aquarius and Taurus, and lots of planets in mutable signs, the Virgo Pisces axis. What does this mean? The fixed energy wants you to be strong, not to be beaten. How can I be more resilient? What must I hold on to at this time? My faith, maybe, with all that Pisces energy. And the mutable energy is asking you, where must I change? Where am I holding on to something that's outdated, that I don't need anymore? Where do I need to go with a bit more of a flow? Where do I need to be a bit more flexible, a bit more understanding? So it's finding that balance is going to be a challenge of this full moon. Virgo energy, the 2 weeks after this full moon, is the wonderful time for detoxing. Virgo is the discerner. It says, right, let's detox. Let's get rid of what we don't need physically. Emotionally, what are you hanging on to? Resentment, anger, fear. Maybe it's time to forgive. To forgive and forget, to maybe forgive yourself. We're often our own harshest critics. Maybe forgive yourself for whatever it is you did that you're not proud of. Goodness knows I've got a ton of things I'm not proud of that I've done in my life. I only pray that I have learned from those experiences. That's just my biggest prayer. So, you're a divine being in a material world. And the question that this full moon asks you is, what spiritual teachings, learnings have I got? What inspires you? It's a wonderful time for thinking about inspirational words, people who bring you inspiration, people who bring you hope at this time of despair. What divine message really touches you right now that you will embody? Maybe it's the message of St. Francis of Assisi. I'm sorry, I don't know those words, but wherever there is strife, let me bring peace. Wherever there is discomfort, let me bring joy. But whatever it is, it might be a mantra, it might be a word, it might be the words of Jesus Christ for some of you, it might be words of Buddha for some of you, but bring the spiritual teachings into life. So how am I seeing that now, practically being expressed in our world? Well, I've seen so many people offering their homes, their places, to people who are fleeing Ukraine at this time. And so many of you reached out to me and have told me the kinds of things that are happening in your country, especially in Poland, in Czech Republic, in Germany, in places where people are opening their hearts and their souls on a practical level to really help people. There's been a movement of people who've been renting Ukrainian people's Airbnbs because they know that they're not able to be in their homes and to rent out homes, but just to support them financially. What a beautiful initiative to do that. Sadhguru is about to start a big mission about the soil, because we are 5 generations away from the soil. You can read about this in Penny Kelly, in the interviews that I've done with her, has talked a lot about that. But we don't have the nutrition in our food to feed us to be healthy beings. So we must get back to the soil. So this is a wonderful time with this full moon in Virgo to do something for Mother Earth, to do something for others practically. Maybe you're going to plant a garden, plant some seeds. What seeds will you plant? Ruler of Venus, mundane ruler, is Mercury, and Mercury is conjunct to Neptune and Jupiter, encouraging you to have kind thoughts, loving thoughts. Who can I soothe today? Many of you have written to me recently, especially in the last week, feeling such despair and loss of hope. And I've always done my best to write back and say, to acknowledge that despair, because I have to say I've felt it and still feel it from time to time, but also a soothing message of hope and possibility, and stay strong and hang in there, because you are needed. You are. Mother Teresa was asked, what can I do? Yeah, what little thing can I do in my world? And one of the things that she said was, reach out to somebody who thinks they are alone and let them know that they're not. And I think so many right now are feeling deeply alone. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And there is help. And that by reaching out to one another in ingenious ways, because Venus and Mars and Jupiter are in Aquarius, so this is giving us new solutions to age-old problems. We've got a wonderful trine energy going on with Pluto and this moon and the North Node. So if we keep doing the things that are highest expression, keep asking for the help, and the help will come in intuitive messages, in intuitive knowings. Trust that intuition. Let it guide you, and then do the practical action. To me, that's the message of this full moon in Virgo. And for those of you that are hurting at this time, my heart goes out to you. And I think in many ways we're all hurting in one way or another. This is a very stressful time. It's not to say that there aren't some good things and good initiatives happening, but we must have the balance to feel it all, because it is in the feeling of the pain and the feeling of the suffering that the defenses of our hearts come down and we reach out beyond what we might have done before. So that's my prayer at this time. And from my heart to yours, I send you much love.